Macintosh Plus. I have still only ever heard one album by Macintosh Plus, or by Vectroid in general, and that's the album we're going to be talking about today, Floral Shoppe. This album, it's a cult classic really, definitely the most iconic vaporwave album, practically the face of the genre. And you know, I also feel it's fair to call this album controversial, because it sparked so much discussion, and there was this whole debate about whether vaporwave has any integrity at all, if it should be treated as its own thing or just a cheap rip-off. Personally, I think the reason I took to the genre so quickly was just because the aesthetics appealed to me. And you know, you can whine about how it was just like meme aesthetics or something, but are you telling me that you don't miss the 2016 era of absurdist memes? That shit was awesome. I haven't felt represented by memes since 2016, but that's just the baseline really. Songs like Teen Pregnancy by Blank Benchy demonstrated to me back in the day how this style of music could be used to very effectively relay emotion to the audience, often in abstract sort of ways. And that song, it takes the iconic melody from The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and it completely changes how it feels. The whole song feels so isolated and full of regrets and sadness. I think also I'm a big fan of music that makes music out of other music. I love old school hip hop, for example. This recycling, reinventing, science experiment sort of thing is really cool to me. And vaporwave is just an extreme example of that really. Granted, you can find a lot of cheap shit out there where, you know, they'll just reverb it, slow it down a bit. And you know, that shit gives the genre a bad name. But when it's done with style and talent, it makes for some really cool shit. It is funny in retrospect how much division this album caused. People affirmed that vaporwave was just an empty fad that would die out within a few years, but the genre just evolved further from that point, and is still around today and has like a million subgenres. I get that all that hate was in response to people being obnoxious and pretentious about vaporwave though. I think that stuff is gay too. I don't really care about vaporwave being some satire or nostalgia, and most of it really doesn't feel like it's trying to go for that at all, to be honest. I think that narrative is kind of forced, and is mostly journalists trying to dip their toes into internet culture and getting lost in the source immediately, like always. The genre obviously works with nostalgia a lot, but the best vaporwave creates whole mental worlds really. That's what the appeal is for me. This album has this sort of uncanny effect where it twists sounds that are so distinctly human and stretches them out until they represent strange mental landscapes, some of which have a very explorative feeling, like you are astral projecting or something almost, while other ones portray something more akin to Picasso's self-portraits, where things feel unsymmetrical and jarring, kind of bewildering, until they're these chopped up monstrosities of nostalgia, disfigured and abstract, like it's all familiar but messed up. Mostly though, the songs here, they fall into the first category and are very relaxing and encouraging even. Look at Chill Diving with Echo, for example. It sounds like you're gliding through the air or something. It sounds like a lucid dream. I think something I always liked about vaporwave is the way a lot of it takes more structured and conventional music and essentially frees it. It appeals to me a lot as someone who wishes to free the divine essence trapped within material things. Like, this album takes clearly joyous and soulful songs and then makes them boundless and limitless. And granted, it's not every song here, but there's many examples on the album. This song likely being the most potent example. This album, it kind of sounds like it wants to bring the inner essence out of everyday things and show the world how beautiful they are. It wants to show the secrets hidden away from us in plain sight. And I mean, I get that this is all a very personal interpretation on my part, but I reckon if you come to see it this way, the music can be quite meaningful to you. A classic line of slander that I remember always being thrown at vaporwave is that it's just like elevator music. And certainly there are a few moments on this album that I like that. But if some of these tracks are elevator music, then it must be an elevator made of glass that goes through space. Some of the songs chop up the melodious samples to the level where they leave behind the human aspects of the samples and build something that sounds very large out of them. Again, like abstract worlds. Look at Mathematics, for example. That one is so much just like a soundscape. A lot of what is being sampled near the start of that song is pretty much unrecognizable. It doesn't all sound so expansive and full. And this song is actually beautiful as well. There are many moments that are quite wondrous and motivational. Generally, it's almost at that level that I really appreciate in music, where it all sounds like human progress. But really here, it's much more like personal progress. You're witness to universal truths being revealed to you and you alone. And you know, some of you out there might be like, but Catman, it's literally just slowed down 80s music aesthetics. You sound schizo. Maybe I am schizo. Maybe I'm just biased because I once took a fuck ton of codeine and flew through my laptop screen listening to Lisa Frank 420/modern computing. Also, that song is iconic. It can't be denied. Really catchy song. But then it totally throws you off and descends into madness. Always loved how the words, "it's all in your hands," is repeated, and it sounds like it's saying, "it's all in your head." The song feels like a vision sent to you, trying to get you to wake up from the Matrix or something like that. The way the drums start reverberating is really trippy, but I think my experience while taking codeine really adds to how trippy I find this song. I always think about that moment when I hear this song, and then I think about how I took a shower afterwards and my skin started burning. Didn't know about that at the time. Never take a shower if you're taking codeine, guys. Catman is anti-drugs anyway. He doesn't like vaporwave because it's a nitty genre or anything. He likes it because it's based and esoteric. But this song, it really does feel like being high on prescription medicine and just having a vacant sort of smile on your face. The main sample that makes up the instrumental of this song really is a great melody. No wonder it's such a classic. I think the opening song, Bootin', is really good in its chopped up samples. It has a very unique feeling to it. And I'm pretty sure that's a Sade sample too. The feeling of this song is kind of hard to describe, but it's the kind of thing I talked about earlier, where it kind of lures you into that nostalgic feeling and then totally throws you off. It starts jumbling up the song more and more, going all over the place, speeding up, slowing down. The kind of way it juxtaposes different repeated vocal samples really hits for me. Always a lot of wild, glitchy stuff going on all over this album too. I mean, obviously in the sense of things being chopped up, kind of like DJ Screw style. Kind of shit where it sounds like your tape is skipping. But also, there's moments where it straight sounds like someone is sat on the remote control for their stereo, and the music is speeding up, slowing down, skipping back, generally going haywire. I think a lot of really cool and pretty melodies were chosen for samples here. Good work overall. You know, some people, I feel they just find a sample and think, yeah, I guess this will work. And then they make a song out of that. This feels like everything was selected with much more care, in my opinion. If I have any complaint, it's that some of the songs do have moments that are kind of boring, and in which the elevator criticism does really ring true. But then these same songs will later have parts I really like. Library is a great example of this. The beginning of it kind of affirms the narrative about vaporwave being elevator music. But then when you get to the chorus, it's one of the best moments on the album probably. I tend to enjoy this album more and more every time I listen to it. And it's quite funny to me that there was ever a narrative about this music being cheap. Sure, this album uses heavy sampling at times, but it does a lot with it. It doesn't just let it ride out like some slowed and reverbed shit. It fucks it all up massively. Practically beats up the music, flattens it, stretches it out, morphs it beyond recognition at times. I will not stand for Floral Shop slander. It's fucking based, man. I give it 8 cats out of a possible 10 cats. But yeah, that's about it for this review. Subscribe to the Catman Show, leave a like, leave a comment. Goodbye.